Hey y'all, it's Caitlin. Now, before I get too far into this, last month's video was a little bit bad because of the audio wasn't synced with the visual. And here's the reason why. For some reason, my editing software used to be able to allow me to do voiceovers within the system. Like, I just clicked on the microphone, said my piece, and it was automatically edited into the video. For some reason, that has stopped working, and I can't figure out why. So what I'm having to do is use the voice recorder app on my laptop, record it, save it, download it, and put it into the video. It's a little bit more work, and I'm going to try and make it sync this time, because I know what I did wrong last time. But it takes a little bit more effort this way, and it's just not as easy. So if you guys hear some rumbling and stuff, I'm sitting down on the couch in my little basement by my recording spot and trying to be as relaxed as possible, because this is going to take me a heck of a lot longer than it usually does. So if you guys hear rumbling and stuff, it's the dehumidifier and things running, because yeah, it's just going to take a while, and I want to be in a comfy spot, so bear with me. So to start out, you guys saw from the title, we are making Dex Starr from DC Comics, and I'm taking the Professor McGonagall as Cat from Harry Potter as the base. I have to soften the head with hot water in order to take it off. I'm also using my knife because I like to take the ring around the pop set and keep it attached to the body. It's harder to paint that way, but it's easier to reattach later, so it's worth it. And it takes a little bit of effort, but you can do it. And then after which, I am taking both parts of the cat body and putting it in a little bit of acetone in order to take all the factory paint off. So you're gonna see here that I do switch my colors a little bit. Like, I go in with one color that I've mixed up, and then I'm like, no, it doesn't look right, so I paint over it. So it happens a lot in this video, so something's not the exact shade it was once, that's why. But so Dex Starr has like a very bluish gray fur color, so I tried to make that as best as possible. I did mute it a little bit later again, but I do go around the entire body and paint it with that color. Now, if you don't know too much about Dex Starr, basically he used to be a regular house cat named Dexter, whose owner loved him a lot, and one day she gets murdered by robbers, and Dexter witnesses it, and instead of taking Dexter to like the pound or shelter or anything like that, the cops basically, once they're there with the body, they basically kick the cat out on the street, and the cat is filled with so much rage that the Red Lantern ring finds him. So once an ordinary house cat, now a superpowered villain bent on revenge. So it's actually a pretty epic character. I really love it when they include him with stuff. So I really just wanted to make a pop of him. So I think it turned out really well, but it was a lot more work than I expected, which we'll see a little bit later here. And here's where the whole lot of work bit came in. So Dexter has side fur that spikes up on either side of his face, and I needed to sculpt that on the pop, and I used, there went the air conditioner, sorry. And so I used epoxy sculpt to do that. So you have to take equal parts A and B, mix it together, and eventually it'll harden and make pretty much a rock solid surface. But here was the problem. So I should have used Goose the cat instead of the Harry Potter one, because Goose already had that molded onto his face. But I didn't want to deal with Goose's collar. For some reason, I thought that was going to be a bigger deal than sculpting it. I was so freaking wrong. That collar would have been so easy to take off of Goose compared to this. Because what you're seeing me sculpt now, the little, we'll call them sideburns, I did them once, it cured, I sanded them, and I didn't like it wasn't even, so I did another pass on it, repeated the process, let it, I smoothed it out with water, sanded it when it was cured. I did that about 5 times before I was finally happy with it. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, and I still didn't get it completely perfect, but I got it enough that I was at least partially satisfied with it. But again, it took so long. What you guys are seeing here, this was just the first pass. I didn't record the rest of it, but it took several days just to get that done because this stuff cures. It takes about 12 hours for it to fully cure, so it took a lot longer. So if you guys plan on start customizing, go ahead and get the one closest to the shape of what you're wanting and then just go from there, because that collar would have been so much easier to take off a Goose than sculpting these things on Professor McGonagall, but here we go. That's what I chose to do. Finally, I can start on the detail paint. So the Red Lantern Corps' uniforms are very similar to the green, where the green is just switched with red and it's black everywhere else pretty much. So I went ahead and made solid black the outline for the costume. I probably should have done it the other way and went with red first, because the red did it was hard to layer up the red to make it opaque after the black, but again, that's a mistake I made. Next, I took some yellow paint and decided to make the eyes. Now, I was debating on whether making the eyes, solid black or solid yellow, but I went ahead and decided I was going to make it like I was doing it like an actual figure, like an action figure almost, and made the eyes very, very similar to what you would see in the comic, which you'll see the final piece later. The eye molds, despite the fact that they are protruding from the face, believe it or not, are kind of hard to follow when it's all the same color. So I think I did end up getting one of the eyes just a little bit bigger than the other one, unfortunately, but not noticeable enough to care. So that's my philosophy. But anyway, after that, I decided to go ahead and put in the little pink nose on Dex Starr as well. And then you can see here on the body, I went ahead and did all the parts that's going to be red. I went ahead and painted white. Problem was, I didn't get the white perfectly straight, the lines. Sometimes it overlapped. I should have done 2 coats in some of the spots with the white so that the red would have showed up better. Because I did end up having to do about 4, I want to say, coats of red, despite it being on top of the white, because my red is just so sheer and transparent and liquidy. So I did finally get red paint for the next one. So the next repaint you guys will see, if I use red, you'll see the good paint, but for this one it did take a while. Dexter's eyes, he's a cat. Sometimes he has round eyes, sometimes he has these diamond-shaped ones, and the diamond-shaped ones look cooler, let's face it. So I went ahead and did the black diamond pupils once I got the yellow color opaque enough. You guys let me know what you guys thought about this, because I honestly was kind of debating it, whether to keep it yellow, keep it fully black, or just do this. And I honestly think this turned out a lot better this way, but yeah, you guys let me know what you would have done. So here you can see me doing something called slanting the eyes. Funko, slanting the eyes on the characters that need it. I wanted Dexter to be scowling a little bit, so I just added those lines so that I come back in and repaint over it with the grayish blue paint. So Dexter does have, Dex Starr does have a little bit of stripes on his body as well. So I took my black and added just a little bit of blue, like literally just like a drop or 2 of blue, and painted on the stripes and made them as even as possible. Again, I did have to come back with the bluish gray paint to correct some of the lines, because I wanted them to be as pointed on the ends as possible. But yeah, I went ahead and did that all around the face. I almost forgot about the little lighter patches around his mouth. You can see here I'm doing that with white, and I'm just basically dabbing it on instead of necessarily painting it, because I wanted it to be almost like it was fading into the other fur, like it would be on a natural cat. But looking at the reference pictures, it's not fully white, it is a bit blue. I do think it looks better as white, personally. But later on you'll see in the finished product I did end up doing that again and adding some blue to it, and of course I had to repaint over the nose to make it more blunt, so it's not look like it's being covered up by the fur. So yeah. Now, I don't know if I did this while it was recording. We'll see. I never review this footage before I put it together, guys. You should know that by now. But you can see I have the spots where I'm going to put the the Red Lantern logo, excuse me. And I'm already doing it with that toothpick on the Red Lantern ring. I find it so cute. He wears the ring on his tail. I love it. But I think I did change that to be more true to an actual Green Lantern ring. You'll see that a little later on, but I did have a reference picture and was doing that with both the ring and the emblem on the chest. And then I realized I wanted to make his little fangs 3D. So I got the epoxy back out and made just a little bitty amount of it to sculpt the fangs. Looking back, this was kind of a bad idea. As you can see, I made this still while the little patch around the mouth was white. If I knew I was going to have to go back in and change the color, I would have just painted the fangs on with white instead of doing that, because honestly it looks more like a vampire right now. And there's some pictures you see of Dex Starr where it's just one fang, sometimes it's two. I chose two. I think it would look better with one. But honestly, that's something that later on I could go in and fix if I wanted to, but right now I just left it like I sculpted it. Hey, look, I did record it. So if you guys are repainting something and you want to replace a darker color with a lighter color, just get a little bit of acetone on a Q-tip and rub very lightly. Do not scrub. Just rub lightly, or else you'll take too much of the paint off. And just redo it. So I redid this to make it look more like a traditional Green Lantern or I keep saying green. Red Lantern ring without the black. So there is Dexter all semi-properly colored. You can see the ring I just made it completely red, just made a darker red on top of the regular red to make the symbol, and yeah, I think it looks good this way. Again, the fangs are the biggest problem, and the sideburns still aren't totally even or smoothed out. But yeah, this may be a character that I remake sometime in the future, like completely from scratch with the proper pop, and just see if I can get it better. I don't think this one turned out bad. Like, you can still tell it's Dex Starr, but it's just a little off in some places. So I really do want to redo this in the future, but I think it looks pretty good right now. So you guys let me know what you think again, and hopefully you enjoy this and learn from my mistakes. So anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed watching this. Thank you guys so much, and remember, like always, it's a community, not competition, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.